Mowgli family found in the Vietnamese jungle. A few years ago, a feral father and son were found in the jungles of central Vietnam, having lived there for more than 40 years. According to local media, they were found about 40 kilometers from the nearest settlement. Ho Van Than, 82, and his son, Ho Van Lang, 42, lived in a treehouse. The old man was very weak that he could not even walk. He had to be carried out of the forest on a stretcher. Their story began back in 1971 during the infamous Vietnam War. They threw them into the village where their family, his wife and 4 children, lived bombs, as a result of which his wife and 2 older children were killed. And his father fled into the jungle with a 1-year-old child. There, on a tree, he arranged a hut, where they stayed to live. And the 4th child, born shortly before the death of his mother, was saved by one of his relatives. All this time they ate what they found in the forest, mainly plant food. Near the hut, they grew sugarcane and tobacco in a small clearing. Knives, axes, hunting arrows and clothes, all this was made by their hands. From the past, civilized life, they only had their father's trousers and a children's jacket, in which their son was dressed on the day of flight. Over the long years of wild life, the father has almost forgotten the main Vietnamese language, and can only speak a little in one of the dialects. The situation with the son is even worse. He hardly knows how to talk at all, since his father did not teach him. By the way, the youngest son named Ho Van Tri, who was then saved by relatives, knew that his father and brother live in the jungle. He even managed to find him 20 years ago. But they did not recognize him. And no matter how hard he and his relatives tried to convince him to return, they did not succeed. Most likely, now the old man is no longer able to resist. He is very weak and exhausted. Which is why they agreed to return. Now they are undergoing a complete medical examination. The Vietnamese press writes that the reason for the flight and so long living in the jungle could be the mental illness of the father, provoked by the war and the loss of people close to him. The father and son have many relatives. They gladly accepted him and are going to help Ho Wang Leng to learn the language and adapt to people.